Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about some NFL news. Let's get around to here. So, per report, disgraced former hashtag Raiders coach Jon Gruden is considering a quote, big wild card for Indiana's head coach opening via Bruce Feldman's CFB. Gruden, he last coached in 2021, but was fired mid-season for making some racist, homophobic, and misogynistic comments. So, apparently he's a big wild card for that head coach opening over there at Indiana. Indiana is probably like one of the 10 states or whatever where you can probably get away with it. You can get away with it in any state, you just can't get away with it when you work within a woke organization. I mean, I don't know how that fit would be for Jon Gruden in Indiana. I don't know. I mean, maybe he could get it. I mean, the franchise is kind of horrible there with the Raiders, so can't really fully blame Jon Gruden. But maybe he could be perfect for Indiana, but I don't know. I mean, he has head coaching experience, something some Indiana coaches haven't had, that head coaching experience. So maybe they could lead them to at least a bowl season, at best. So we need an update. Hashtag brand pass rusher Myles Garrett arm is in a sling after the loss to the Broncos. He was with the media and you could see a sling around his arm. And Garrett said he heard a, quote, pop in his shoulder, per the report, via Mary Kay Cabot. If that's a serious injury and causes him to miss a few weeks, that will be a big loss to that Cleveland Browns defense. The AFC North was amazing just a few weeks ago, and now the Bengals and Browns are totally different teams with no legit good quarterback and stars getting injured. Joe Burrow, Myles Garrett. He might be a torn labrum or a rotator cuff. So that's a huge loss. So remember when everyone was writing the Denver Broncos off? Well, everyone wrote them off at 1-5, including me, and now they won 5 in a row, and they have the longest active winning streak in the NFL. Their defense has been playing lights out. I mean, I know they played DTR today, who isn't really great. I mean, he's a rookie, but you can't deny the Broncos are red hot right now. I mean, I don't think anybody wrote them off, to be honest. I just think nobody cared. But Sean Payton's got his team over 500. So Rams running back Kyren Williams versus the Cardinals, they had 204 total yards, 2 touchdowns, 143 rushing yards, 61 receiving yards, 8.9 yards per carry, and 10.2 yards per catch. So great game for Mr. Kyren Williams. An update: the hashtag Seahawks signed former Cowboys second-round pick Kelvin Joseph to the practice squad. He also played for the Dolphins this season. They also signed former hashtag Steelers wide receiver Cody White. Oh boy, Kelvin Joseph. Better hope he doesn't play that game against the Cowboys. But I mean, since they've signed him to the practice squad, maybe he'll just stay on the practice squad unless there's like an injury, and then they have to bring him up. So an update today: the hashtag Cowboys are hosting former hashtag Colts All-Pro linebacker Shaq Leonard this week via Calvin Watkins. It was reported, I believe, yesterday that the Cowboys and Eagles were interested in Shaq Leonard, but now the Cowboys are hosting him this week. The 28-year-old Leonard is a rare, great free agent available late in the season. So, the player still has to want to go to that team, though, so it's not really just getting them. It's a good defense, and he's best friends with Gilmore, and it's a Super Bowl contender. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a great free agent. He's kind of injury prone, but it would be a good depth piece for us. Every report today, there's a quote, a lot of tension between Giants head coach Brian Daboll and defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, per Jay Glazer. It could blow up and reach, quote, mutual parting of the ways even during this season. Glazer says things are bad. Wink is the only thing holding the team together, somewhat together with the defense. Like, why is he mad at him? I mean, he's the only thing winning them games. And things are really bad, Glazer reported.
Pretty interesting what's happening.
Giants' defense is carrying. Like, kind of don't get it. But, I mean, after all the reports, head coach Brian Dable, defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, Dable gave him the game ball. I mean, and then he said something after the game or whatever. I forgot what he said. Here, let me find it. I know, that's after that. So, kind of interesting. And he said, Giants coach talked about it on the tension between him and Wink Martindale. Jeez, I keep saying Martin. Wink Martindale. Well, I'd say the only argument between me and Wink is who gets the last slice of pizza. That's a real quote, by the way. I'm not making that up. It's a real quote. I think he's just trying to be sarcastic. I think there actually is tension between us for some reason, maybe. The defense kind of low-key been carrying the Giants last few weeks. I mean, I know they're not really playing good teams, but hey, they're still carrying. So, per report, Panthers owner David Tepper is frustrated with the team. He was seen leaving the locker room shaking his head and yelling, "Fuck." Another game with passing TDs by Bryce Young on offense. He shook his head and yelled, "Fuck." I mean, he acted like he ain't part of the problem. I mean, I know the team isn't playing well, but he's part of the problem too. He hasn't put Bryce Young in a good situation. He did it on his own. I mean, and if he didn't make them a drafting midget QB with no elite talent anywhere, they'd have 4 or 5 more wins this year. Like, they drafted a small young QB. I don't care about the height. I think he'd still be good. They just don't have the talent around him. And per report, Panthers coach Frank Wright's seat is, quote, on fire. Sources tell Atwill Kunkel, Fox. Wright was just hired this offseason. Will he even finish this season? Why even hold on for another year? He's clearly not the answer. I mean, he's not the answer at coach. He needs to go. This is the worst roster in football. Like, the offensive line and wide receivers are egregious. I mean, like, Frank Wright's just not it. And I questioned the hire when it happened. And it just wasn't the move. It proved out not to be. Giants wide receiver Jalen Hyatt is coming alive with Tommy DeVito. He had 5 catches for 109 yards today, 41 yards as long as catch, 21.8 yards per catch, and his first game with 100 plus yards in the NFL. That dude's nice, man. Bijan Robinson today had 124 total yards, 2 touchdowns, 19 touches with 5.7 yards per attempt. Wow, Arthur Smith has finally figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. Feed Bijan Robinson equals win. He's probably going to bench him the next game. So the Patriots lost again today, man. They're 2-9. Bill Belichick should not survive this. If Robert Kraft actually cares about his fan base, he needs to fire him and move on. Belichick moved on from underperforming players way earlier than this. He messed up the QB position, the wide receiver position, the offensive line position, the kicker position. He doesn't provide any value, man. And I know I'm kind of taking some shots, but I'm just being realistic. Like, Tom Brady made Bill Belichick. He's kind of overrated, so without him, so I don't know, they just need to do something. Like, you have Mac Jones and Bailey to have me like freaking trash. That whole roster's just trash. Jones even got freaking benched today for Bailey's happy. That's the 4th time he has benched Mac. Like, Belichick's benched Mac. This time it's at halftime. He had 2 INTs and a fumble and they didn't even score. Like, it's bad in New England with the QB situation. And we also got Purdy report. Things are falling apart for Belichick and the #Patriots. Juju Smith-Schuster and wide receiver coach Troy Brown had a heated sideline argument after the last INT. Smith-Schuster then slammed his helmet, sat down for a moment, and got back up to plead his case to Hunter Henry. The Patriots are absolutely cooked right now, man. Belichick's done there. I mean, he went from Mahomes to Mac Jones. I'm not sure what he expected. Oh, he's going to be like Patrick Mahomes. Like, that team's a mess right now, man. Per your report, a Raiders safety, Roderick Teamer, was arrested for a DUI, according to law enforcement sources and jail records, per at Logan Reaver. Always a Raider, man. Always a Raider. Of course, it was the Raiders. Can't be shocked. Always a Raiders player getting in trouble with the law. So, we got another report for the Panthers. Per your report, Panthers coach Frank Wright will receive the rest of the 2023 season to develop rookie QB Bryce Young. Per Mike Ruffalo, the team will reevaluate the future of Wright in the offseason. Well, Frank Wright, you're fired at the end of the season. There's nothing to reevaluate. He's not going to be able to develop. There's not much talent to develop. It's just a waste of time. Like, it's so stupid. Like, you don't evaluate at the end of the year, just fine. Like, come on. The Steelers are expected to target wide receiver George Pickens more and give more carries to Jalen Warren following the firing of offensive coordinator Matt Canada per at Rap Sheet. Jalen Warren's better than Najee Harris. And the Steelers' offense had like 400 yards today, so maybe that's right. So former NFL QB Alex Smith disagreed with future Hall of Famer Tom Brady that a lot of the NFL days media were calling signing the AFC East of his era as a weak division, and he didn't run it in front of Rex Ryan. I mean, yeah, the AFC East wasn't good, but Tom Brady had to win in the playoffs still. I mean, QB play's been pretty bad, but can both be right. The product's kind of garbage, you know, with the reps and shit, but whatever. Update. There's a chance that Jets QB Aaron Rodgers could start practicing as, quote, early as next week, per at Rap Sheet. As was previously reported, he's targeting December 24th against Commanders as a potential return date to come back and play. Well, go ahead, lose him for next year, too. I don't know why the Jets would clear him. They have nothing to play for. Like, they're not going to make the playoffs. If he gets injured, the freaking medical staff needs to get fired. I don't know how he's been cleared. Per report, the NFL is investigating why the Bengals didn't have QB Joe Burrow listed on their injury report prior to the Ravens game. The team has, quote, turned in hours of footage to the NFL showing that Burrow was healthy prior to the game, per Rap Sheet. From the report, based on information turned over by the Bengals, Burrow received no treatment for practice and missed no time in preparation for the game against the Ravens. Oh, what a surprise. Maybe because he wasn't actually injured. Maybe I was wrong when I said I thought he was injured and they were lying. Maybe he actually wasn't. Per report, Commanders are expected to move on from head coach Ron Rivera next season, per J. Jones 9. From the report, multiple sources tell CBS Sports that managing partner Josh Harris is inclined to keep Ron Rivera through the end of the regular season, but it is widely assumed that he will not be retained as head coach. People around the NFL seem to believe the Commanders' opening at head coach will be the most attractive in the league. NFL executives say, quote, everyone's shooting for Washington as they have a good amount of cap space and draft picks. I'm not sure why this is news. Probably the DC media has probably said it for weeks. They have a lot of draft picks and some good young talent, so we'll see what they do when they fire Ron Rivera and see who they might look to replace him. Update. Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. appears to confirm that he'll enter the 2024 draft after previously stating he isn't certain about it. He shared a video saying he scored his last home touchdown. Which NFL team will draft Marvin Harrison? We'll see what team drafts him. Yeah, it's all the NFL news I have to talk about here. So next month. Peace.